Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Isabel Cristina Designs today, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this gorgeous little critter-filled spring-themed card, perfect for a birthday, but also for any occasion. You could just change up the sentiment to make it what you wish. So I have gone ahead and coloured and cut out all of my little images. So these come from the Spring Greetings Digi Stamp set. It is part of the April release, and this release is just gorgeous. So many different digi stamp designs in there that are just gorgeous, perfect for spring. And this one is no exception. So it's kind of got these little baby farm animals, a few butterflies and flowers. And I'm going to be pairing it up with the Heffy Doodle Brooke 3D box dies. Now, if you've been watching my channel lately, you know I love this die set, can't get enough of it. I'm also using the freshly cut grass dies from Heffy Doodle. So I have gone ahead and just cut out all of my pieces. And what I have done is I have made the main box pieces from this blue cardstock. This is a Concord and 9th Aqua Sky cardstock. It's such a pretty colour, perfect for spring. So all I'm doing is going around and I am reinforcing all of those score lines, just folding them over and using my little bone folder tool here to score those lines really, really well, so that this card will go together nicely. So now all that I need to do is attach double-sided tape to all of the tabs. I'm going to do that off screen because you don't need to watch me doing that over and over again. And then I'm going to start building my box. So it has these two kind of angled pieces which go on either side of this kind of main rounded rectangle piece. So you just line those up with the bottom of that rounded rectangle, and just get those lines kind of exactly in place. I'm sticking my head over there, sorry, to make sure everything's nice and lined up. Once that is done, I can start popping the tab pieces down. Now I have cut 3 tab pieces. You can do as few or as many as you like. I just find that 3 works really nicely, and it gives a nice kind of bit of real estate for your card without overfilling it. So for the last one, you just want to make sure that you line it up right with the edge of that die. And once that is done, I am going to just pop this aside while I work on my back pieces. So to start with, I have cut my grassy pieces slightly longer than they need to be, and I'm just making a pencil line. I want these just to fit along those tab pieces, so I'm just popping a little pencil mark where they need to go. And then I'm going to trim them down with my scissors at those pencil lines. So just doing a little tick mark, and then I'm going to grab my scissors out and just trim those off just slightly to the left of those pencil marks. Once I've done that for all 3 of these pieces, I am going to go and do some ink blending on these, as well as that back panel and the 2 little side pieces. Now for my ink blending, I like to use some repositionable tape to hold my pieces of card down onto my ink blending mat here. This is my, oh goodness, I've completely forgotten the name of this, but it's the kind of metal mat that I do my ink blending on. I don't know why I can't think of it. But I'm just using this Lawn Fawn Cloudy Stencil for this background piece, and some Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink. Again, I love these colours, perfect for spring, and this Salvaged Patina works really nicely, ties in really well with that bluish cardstock that I've used. So once I've finished with my stencil, just add a little bit of colour to the bottom, and then I'm going to do some splattering. So I'm going to start with just some clear plain water and splatter that all over. And once I have done that, I'm going to use my paper towel just to dab that up. So you'll see here in a second, and it just gives some nice distress look to that cloudy background. And then I'm going to squirt on some water onto that Salvaged Patina ink, and then splatter that all over as well. It's the same colour as what I've used for the ink blending, but it does come out a little bit darker, and it just gives a nice kind of detail to the background. So here are my other little white pieces. So there's those two kind of pieces that go to attach to the sides, and then my 3 grassy pieces. So again, I'm just using some repositionable tape to attach these down to my Make Art Station. That's the name of it. Why couldn't I think of that before? My Make Art Station. And I'm going to ink blend on with some Evergreen Bough Distress Oxide ink. Now this is a really nice kind of soft bluish green, but I think it just works so perfectly. And for these corner pieces, I'm just going at the bottom and then kind of fading off to white at the top. And with the grass pieces, I'm covering them completely with ink, but going more heavy-handed towards the bottom and lighter towards the top of each of those grass pieces. And I just think this color works so well with that kind of bluish Salvaged Patina colour that I've used for the other ink blending and for the cardstock that I've used. And it just gives a nice kind of fresh green spring vibe. So now I'm doing the same thing again, splattering on just some clean, clear water first of all, and then I'll dab that up with my paper towel, and then I'll go back with that smooshed up Evergreen Bough ink that I've put on there, add some water to that, mix it around with my paintbrush and splatter that all over to create some lovely texture for my grass pieces. So I'm having lots of fun splattering here, and once I've finished this, I'll clean off this Make Art Station, pop it away, and get on to building my background. So while I was waiting for those ink blended panels to dry, I just stamped out a happy birthday sentiment onto that piece that comes with the die set. I've just cut it from some white cardstock. It's going to go right at the front on that very front tab piece. So now I'm going to attach everything down. So before I seal off those side pieces there that I've got, I'm going to attach my background panel and my grass pieces on as well. So just using some liquid glue for this. So attach that background panel down first, and now I'm just layering my grass on. So these 2 back pieces are going to layer onto the front of those tabs, and then the final one is going to layer onto the back of the tab, so that it kind of looks like a nice little meadow that you're looking into. And I just think this is so sweet. These little critters in this Digi-Stamp set from Isabel Cristina are gorgeous. I love them. They kind of look like baby farm animals, and I'm not sure which one is my favourite. Initially, when I first looked at it, I just fell in love with the little pig, but after I coloured my cow in, I coloured her, I'm calling her a her, I don't know if it's a him or a her. I coloured her as a Frisian, and I kind of fell in love with her. But all of these little critters in this stamp set are just gorgeous. So just peeling off that tape there, the lining for that double-sided tape, and I'm going to press down at that other edge, and now my little box card is all formed and ready to go. Now I just need to attach my little side pieces here, and you don't need to do this is an extra step, but I just thought it made it look all nice and cohesive, and it just kind of, I like the way it makes it look nice and polished and finished. So I thought that was a nice added extra. So once that is on, I'm going to pull out my little critters and start fiddling around with how I'm going to attach them all down and the placement of them into my card. So there are tons of little images in this set, including these little flowers. Now, because I managed to stamp my sentiment slightly off center, I popped a little flower down there to the right of it, and it kind of balanced it out again. Now I'm going to start with my little cow here. She's just so cute, and I'm going to pop her right into that back layer with some liquid glue just on her very feet. And I thought about pulling in the little bee here, but I decided to bring the butterfly in instead. So I'm going to attach the butterfly down right onto that back panel, just directly onto the back panel. Goodness, I can't speak. And attach that down with some liquid glue. Then I'm pulling out this little goat, and he's kind of going to sit in the middle there, in that middle layer. So again, just popping a dab of glue onto the very base of these little critters, just onto their little feet. For my little chick here, he's going to go off to the left-hand side of that very front panel, and the little pig is going to be on the right hand side. So they kind of balance each other out. And I love that this little pig is holding this little bouquet of flowers in his mouth. He's just so sweet. So I popped him in there, made sure that the flowers were kind of in front of the grass. Now this little lamb looks like he's leaping, so I decided to use some acetate here to kind of pop him up from the grass, so it really does look like he's bouncing around. And sorry, I just knocked my camera there. Almost sent it flying. Thankfully I didn't. So I've just used a little strip of acetate, and I'm going to attach that down with some liquid glue just into that, again, to that very back tab piece, and just to make it look like he's kind of jumping in the air, leaping in the air, as little lambs love to do. So now I have a bunch of little accessory images that I need to kind of find space for, and I wanted to use pretty much everything because I just loved this stamp set. I thought it was just gorgeous. So many different elements and perfect for building little scenes. So there's a few different bunches of flowers. Now I coloured mine in purple, which I know they're probably meant to be daisies, but I just felt like I wanted that extra pop of colour to make it really spring-like, and so I coloured my flowers in purple, but of course colour them in whatever way you want, but I just thought that they looked really sweet. And I'm just adding bunches in, and there's a few individual ones as well, so just popping them in where I can. This last one I had a lot of trouble with. I didn't want to stay put where I put it down, so I ended up moving it back to just beside that little goat there, and popped it in there, and it worked fine. I don't know why I didn't want to go in the first place. But then I have this kind of little single flower, which I'm going to pop in the front here as well, once I've decided on the placement of that. And then the only things left are the little bee and the other little butterfly. So the little butterfly I decided to pop up near his friend there at the back, and I was kind of figuring out where I wanted him at first, but in the end decided just to pop him up there with his little friend. So there's two little butterflies flitting right in the background. And then my little bee, which actually comes attached to this gorgeous little heart trail. I figured that the trail it just didn't work with what I was going for. So I decided to cut the trail off and just use the little bee on his own with a bit of acetate again, so he can fly up in the air just beside the little goat there. And it kind of almost looks like the little goat is looking up at the bee. But and it's a really full box card. There's loads of dimension, loads of elements. I've crammed everything in, but I just couldn't resist because everything was so cute and fun. And it really does make me feel like spring. So that is it. That's my card all complete. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really had a lot of fun putting it together. These images are just gorgeous and so fun to colour. Do go and check out Isabel Cristina's Etsy shop. I will leave the link in the description box below. Please do subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back again. Feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, and thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.